Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. For today's video, we're going to be talking about W7's first palette of 2022, and it is a love/music festival themed palette which is coming out for Valentine's Day. I know it feels a little bit early still for Valentine's Day. We're seeing some adverts for it already and I'm like, we haven't made it past January. But apparently we're already here with Valentine's makeup. I actually really like the outside packaging on this one. It is very cute. I just want to jump straight into this review today. So quick disclaimer, as always, W7 have sent me this palette in PR. However, they've not requested that I make this video or any looks or any content linked to it. There's no money being exchanged. I'm just doing this video because I love reviewing eyeshadow palettes. I can't get enough of them. Although if you've seen my last video, I actually did a declutter and I got rid of quite a few of them. So I will link that up in the cards if you want to check it out. There will be timestamps as always to jump ahead to any section of the video if you'd like. But enough chit chatting for now. Let's jump into the details for this palette. So today we're talking about the Love Fest palette from W7, which I think released just over a week ago at this point, a week and a half ago. The packaging, as I said, is really pretty on the outside, and inside, if you have seen my review of the Mardi Gras palette, you will recognize the 40 pan format that we last saw in that one. So this is the second one that they've done that looks like this. I love that. I like it when brands keep things cohesive. They have packaging that's the same size, that all looks the same on your shelf to put it away correctly. I know it's unnecessary, we don't have to have that, but I personally really like it when brands do that. So I was really happy to see that they did another palette in this format. Just like the Mardi Gras palette, this one is $14.95 and we're getting 36 grams in total, so just under 1 gram per eyeshadow, and our cost per gram is 42p per gram, which is incredibly cheap and some of the most affordable eyeshadows in my collection. So on the inside, as you can see, we have a lovely big mirror and we have shade names in the palette, which I always love. As they've chosen to go for a more music festival theme, you can recognize that in a lot of the names of the shades. So things like stage, jazz, we have camp, we have tickets, we have lights, but then we do also have a few more love themed names. So things like admirer, love song, love sick. So a good little mixture of names in there, although the odd one like buzzin', I'm not sure about that one. That might not have been one that I would personally have put in there. The information that we get on the back of this one is the same as we always do. So this is a pressed pigment palette. We have our little diagram with all shades numbered and our different ingredient lists. We also have a symbol over here to say that the palette is vegan and vegetarian friendly. And I think that's something we've only seen added since maybe the Sweets Trio palette. So it's something very recent. So it's nice to see that the brand has definitely gone in that direction. Going back to the shades, as far as I'm aware, this isn't actually a dupe for anything in particular. This does seem to be an original palette, which is nice to see from them from time to time, just to see them branching out and doing more than just dupes. In terms of the shade distribution, I think we have maybe 15 metallics. Love Map, I can't tell because it doesn't have as much shimmer as the others, but yeah, it might be a different formula. Let's see. Oh no, it seems to have the same formula as others, so I'm wrong there. But the one thing that really does jump out to me is One Love, which is a pressed glitter, which isn't something we normally see in their palettes. I know some people don't really like that, but it doesn't tend to bother me. So yeah, quite a few metallics in this one, which is a lot more than in the Mardi Gras palette. And you guys know I don't always tend to get along with those, so we will see how they perform. Other than that, I think that is it in terms of the details of the palette. So now it's time to jump into the swatches. Alright guys, I'm going to try the swatches from top down today, just because it's quite a big palette. I think it might be a little bit easier, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know in the comments which format you prefer, if this works better for you or what I normally do. And we're going to start with the first row, and we have the shade Pure, Admirer, and Melody, Dance, Lovin', and Lights. Oh wow, some of these metallics are swatching really nicely. It's just a little bit hard to get it to show up for you guys. Up next is Summer, Tickets, and then moving on to the second row, we've got Love Song, Stranger, Crushin', Tour, First Love, Soul, Camp, and Tune In. So there are our first two rows. We've got some really pretty shades. Some of those metallics, like this one, which I think is Love Song, and what is this one? Dance and Pure. They've swatched really beautifully, but some of the mattes are really not showing up, and that's just because they're so light. Like, this is a really light color palette. Very romantic, very poetic. Like, I really see the Valentine's Day theme in this one. Up next, we've got some brighter shades, starting us off with Lovesick, Headline. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Sorry, that is out of frame. That is not helpful for you guys. Then Passion. I don't know how well that one's going to perform because it did feel slightly harder pressed maybe than the others, whereas this one felt really nice. Then S Disco. Oh, we have some really interesting metallics in this one, I will say that. Tough Love. After Party. Okay, some of these are really, really nice. Really, really, really interesting and a bit different. Cider. Boho. Big Love. Okay, I need to do a pink look with this palette at some point. In the Pink. Euphoria. Fairground. Then our Press Glitter One Love. Rock. Banger and Jazz. So that's rows 3 and 4. There's some really, really interesting shades in here actually. That Euphoria shade, even though it's a matte, it has such a blue base to it that when I picked it up, I almost thought it was a duochrome. Like, it's really, really weird. It's a really, really nice shade of pink. The Press Glitter's lovely. This metallic over here, I mean, they look really nice. So on to our final row, we have Love Life, High, Sunnies, Rave, Love Map, Hip Hop, Buzzin', and Stage. All right, so that is our last row there. I have to say, this palette is a lot more interesting once you swatch it than it is when you just look at it. I mean, for me anyway, when I looked at the palette originally, I wasn't super inspired. I didn't really know what kind of look I could do with it. And now I've swatched it, I'm feeling a lot more inspired. I think a lot of these shades are actually really interesting. Some shades maybe a little bit too light. I feel like some shades do look like they're very similar to each other. Not so much in the bright side of the palette, but in the more neutral shades, I feel like we could have cut it down a little bit. So let's move on and let's finally go into the tutorial for this look. All right guys, as always, my eyes are primed with my P. Louise base, ready for us to start using the eyeshadow. Now before we get started, I do just want to quickly mention that I have actually tried to film with this palette twice already and I have failed both times, and I'm not 100% decided on whether it's me or the shadows so far. I'm still kind of on the fence, but I have a feeling it might be me, and it might be that I've been trying to use too many shades and that some of them were too similar. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but I feel like possibly that could be where things have been going wrong. So today I'm going to try and keep it really, really simple, and hopefully the look turns out fine. So let me start by grabbing my Morphe M124, and the shade I'm going to be taking is the shade Tune In, and that is going to go, as usual, kind of just above the crease. And I'm working with my eye open at this stage, just placing my colour, and the pigmentation is pretty decent. And we're gonna go for a full cut crease today. So when I get to the end, I'm just gonna come in and pull that outwards. Okay, that's actually gone on pretty smoothly. I'm quite happy with that. I'm then just gonna take a clean Zoeva 231 just to come and make sure that first shade is nice and even. I'm just gonna come and add a tiny bit more of my P. Louise base because I don't think I've taken it quite high enough, which I swear happens every time I do this type of look. And then I'm just gonna finish up here. All right, not bad for the first shade, so let's add a second one, which is gonna be Tickets, and I'm taking it on a Morphe M506. I wanna try and keep this look fairly neutral, so I was hesitating between this one and Camp, but Camp just looks a bit warmer, and I'm just gonna blend. It's not coming across as super pigmented, but the blending seems to be going pretty well. I do feel like this maybe is looking a little bit patchy, but I'm going to carry on. And next shade I'm going to take is Soul, and this is a Morphe M456. And I'm just going to blend really gently. Okay, these two lighter ones definitely blend into each other really well. No issues there, but they are both quite light, so I feel like they wouldn't cause me as many issues anyway, if that makes sense. I do feel like it is looking a little patchy. Alright, it's not bad, but it's not great so far. I don't feel like this is the nicest blend, and I think I want to try adding a little bit of depth. So I'm taking quite a small flat brush, and the shade is Rock. I'm just going to put that really gently right where I should be cutting the crease. And then to blend that out, I want another small brush. So I'm going to take the Morphe M152 and I'm going to go back into tuning just to blend a bit. And then next I'm going to go back into Tickets. Again, I'm just attempting to blend that. I just don't feel like it's looking super smooth right now. I just feel like I've had nicer blends with W7 before. And then again, back into my M456 into the shade Soul. And then actually, you know what, just on the same brush, I'm going to take a little bit of Lovin' just to finish blending out the edges. Okay, I'm going to leave the blend here. I feel like it looks alright on camera, but in real life, it's just not looking super smooth. And I feel like if I was doing this look with some really bright colours from W7, I wouldn't be having this problem. I just feel like it would be going a lot smoother. But we're going to leave it here. We are going to move on. So I'm just going to go off camera. I'm going to carve out my crease and then I'll come back and we'll carry on with the look. Alright, so I've popped my cut crease on using my P. Louise paint in blank canvas. And I have to say, I'm liking this blend a lot better. I feel like removing some of the product has definitely hidden some of the sins. So we're going to start filling it in now, and I'm going to start off with the P. Louise Fresh Ink paint in Feed Black, and I'm going to take that on a brand new Zoeva 317, and I want to create a wing. There we go. So I've just followed the angle of my lower lash line and it looks like we were a little bit out of focus, so sorry about that, guys. And then I want to have a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a blank space. There we go. Sorry, doing this and talking at the same time is actually really difficult, as it turns out. So now I'm just going to pop on some more of the black and I'm going to fill that shape in. I'm just going to take this brush that I used to get rid of my excess product before. I'm just going to pat in the middle. I'm going to take a clean brush just to make sure that's nicely blended in, and then I'm going to take the black, which is called Stage, and I'm going to start packing that on. It's not the most pigmented black in terms of the colour, but I have to say that when I used it yesterday, it was actually a lot more pigmented than I thought it would be. And then I'm going to take my Morphe, what is this, M152, and I'm going to go back into tuning. And I'm basically going to go back through my crease shades all the way to the lightest one and try to get that all blended in and have a really nice smooth transition between all of the shades. I feel like the blending is going to be a bit funny just here because the black base did go quite far out. So I might be at this for a while. Just going to add Soul. And then Lovin' right on the front. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of Tickets. No, I'm adding the wrong shade. Sorry, I'm going to go back in with a little bit of Soul. And now I'm going to go back into Tickets. And then I think I need quite a bit more of tuning because I almost feel like it's come off. There we go. I'm getting quite a bit of fallout at this stage because I am picking up a lot of product. And then back into tickets. You know what, actually I think this is a really, really nice blend. I think I would have almost needed like a darker base, a dark brown base in the middle, and actually just blended the bases in together first. Overall, I'm quite happy with that. Only thing is that wing is a little bit small, so I'm gonna try extending it, which I'm really scared of. This is where I could ruin everything. Okay, that's a little bit better. I like that a little bit more. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of stage. All right, I've got to say, so far I am really, really happy with how this is looking. I actually really like this. I feel like the blend of the matte shades here is really nice. I normally tend to find that when I'm blending matte shades in together, I always find it a lot easier on the crease than I do on the lid, packed on like that, and they've blended in together beautifully. This is exactly the result that I wanted. So this is definitely turning around right now, which I'm really happy with. So I'm just gonna go cut my crease on the other side. I'm gonna match it all up. I'm gonna decide what I'm doing on the lower lash line, and then I'll be right back. All right, so moving on to my lower lash line, I didn't decide to do anything particularly exciting with it. We're just going to replicate the shades from the eyelid. So I'm gonna start off with the black, and I'm gonna make sure that's really nice and thin, and I'm connecting it up to the wing. Then next to that is tuning. I did find, by the way, that when I was doing the eyelid, I had the same issue on this side as I did on this one, where the shade tuning, which was placed where the two coloured bases met, it's almost like it just came off, and then I had to build it up a lot more. I think that might just be an issue with the bases, but I just wanted to mention it. Then next is tickets, soul, and loving. Then next, because so far we've only tried matte shades, I wanted to try adding a bit of shimmer at the front of the eye. So I went in with the shade Pure on a Morphe M431. You see that, right? That's not particularly exciting. It's not picking up super, super well. I could have picked that up with my finger, but I didn't want to ruin our blend. So I ended up taking a bit more of, what is it, Lovin', just to try and cover it up a little bit. I just really, really didn't like what it looked like. And then instead, I decided to go into my Lowest Cosmetics liquid eyeshadow in the shade Queen's Guard. So I took that on my Morphe M508, and I'm just gonna pop that down the front. There we go, it just makes it a little bit more interesting this way. And I'm gonna come in underneath as well. And then I just went back into the paint, and I'm gonna add a liner that's just gonna go straight into the wing. And then I just took a bit more of the black just to blend it in and set it in place. And then I took a little bit more this time on a very, very fine liner brush, and I'm gonna bring that outwards, or inwards even. And then I also just took a little bit more and I popped that on my lower lash line. Alright, there we go. I think that is going to be it for this look. I really, really like how this is looking right now. I really, really do. I kind of feel like it needs something more over here though. It needs like a glitter or like a silver liner, but I don't have one and it's really annoying me. Let me have a look and see what I've got quickly. Okay, I actually forgot that I do have a silver glitter liner. This is the shade Allumin-ating from BH Cosmetics. I don't think this is available anymore. I would have preferred to use a gel liner, but this will do. So that's gonna go above the wing, and I'm gonna stop talking now because otherwise I'm definitely gonna mess this up. Okay, Okay, there we go. That is exactly what I wanted. Yeah, I really like how this look has come out. And at the beginning of filming this, I really wasn't sure whether I was going to or not. So yeah, I'm gonna go and finish up the rest of my makeup, and when I come back, we'll have a chat about my final thoughts on this palette. All right guys, here is the finished look. I hope as always that you like it. I have to say, I was very nervous going into this video, obviously having done 2 looks already that hadn't worked. I really like how this one came out. I'm so happy with it. Even though it's very neutral, very matte, it feels like the most creative look I've done in a while. Yeah, I'm really here for this one. I really like it. So let's talk final thoughts on this palette. So big plus as always when it comes to W7 for me is just going to be the price and the value for money. You're getting lots and lots of shades and you're really not paying that much money for it. I feel like there are some shades that are really close to each other in this palette. Shades like Camp and Jazz. I don't necessarily feel like we need both of them. And as I said, I feel like maybe that was the issue that I was having in my first couple of looks, was using too many colors that were maybe a little bit too similar to each other. So I feel like we could maybe edit this side of the palette down, probably get rid of a couple of neutral shades here and there that are maybe a little bit too similar. And over on this side of the palette, I would have loved to see this be a little bit brighter and have a red, have a burgundy, just maybe have a few more deeper, richer shades. In terms of the quality of the eyeshadows itself, I obviously have only tried a few shades today, and as I said, the blending was a little bit funny on the crease, but the blending on the lid was impeccable. I was so impressed, because again, normally I feel like I get issues with patchiness on the lid. That's where mattes on mattes tend to go a bit wrong, and I thought the blend was absolutely flawless there. I was really happy. I feel like if you've already got the Vivid Pink palette, the Nudification and the Sweet Cocoa, you probably have a lot of these shades covered, so you probably don't need all of them. But if you don't have those colors already and you want a palette that does all of that from W7, then this is probably the one for you. For me, even though I really love how today's look came out, I don't feel like I've tried quite enough of the shades in this palette, and I feel like both sides of it could perform completely differently. So I will be doing another video on this one. I'm going to do some more looks and then I will give you my definitive answer. So guys, that wraps up today's video. A little bit inconclusive, I know, but I just feel like I want to have a bit more time to play with this one. I've got time off work at the moment, so I feel like I really want to go in a bit more depth with it and just, you know, really get to know it. So stay tuned, that hopefully should be coming soon. If you enjoyed today's video, then do please as always make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of it, and if you haven't already, then please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you guys don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye guys!